Hey everybody, what's going on? Hello YouTube, good to have you. Back here discussing more wrestling. Well, actually, it's not much of a discussion, more of you listening while I ramble. So, if you're okay with that, continue tuning in. We're gonna discuss the NXT Vengeance Day that happened this past weekend. I wanted to get this out before the next NXT episode. Also, we are gonna discuss um current PLE structure between main roster PLEs and NXT PLEs, and why NXT PLEs are above and beyond just way more entertaining and way more enjoyable than the main event or the main roster PLEs. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss the NXT Vengeance Day card. Um, so they started off with Blake Monroe, Jaya Parker. This feud, more or less, has been it's been basically to help both these stars elevate in the women's division. Jay Parker is a fan favorite. Blake Monroe has been very in like I've enjoyed her character work so far on NXT. She's been um and her work in general, I'm just a big fan of. I like what Blake does. She plays a great heel. So watching the match back and forth. They did some cool stuff here. You could tell there you saw the intensity between both women, which was super sweet. I know there was some interesting spots where I know oh, what was it? The Jada did a back, like a falling back, like booty, like smash through the table onto Blake Monroe. There was and then there was like a you know how most people do, most you expect the tax spot, whatever. Well, instead of tax, they did imitation diamonds. And Blake Monroe dropped these diamonds all over the place. Um but it was a cool spot. Monroe got the win with the basically a DDT on the fake diamonds. Like I said, it was a hot opener. It was a great way to highlight not only the women's division, but just getting the show off to a great start. And both these women were not happy with one another. They very much wanted to rip out each other's throats, and it showed here. I'm sure both these women will probably move on from this. I would assume Blake Monroe is either going to go to the main roster, or she's going to find some other um, NXT starlet to pick on. And I got a feeling who that might be. We'll get back to that here in a bit. So let's move on. Um yeah, there was a lot of cool spots, kendo sticks and the like the crowd, yeah. Crowd was into it. It was a good fun time. Now, Dion Lennox and Tony D'Angelo. Now, so this match was way better than I had fully anticipated and expected. And I've been enjoying Tony D uh with his comeback. Like I've been more getting more and more invested every week. He is really playing this redemption character very well. And it's not even, I say redemption. Basically, he's a man looking to check off some boxes on his list. And he's gung ho about just running through Dark State on his way to eventually becoming the NXT champion. The guy right now has the look of a champion. He needs to be the NXT champion sooner rather than later. Um, but yeah, so basically, this is escalated to the point where, I guess Lennox and Dark State decide to wait in the parking lot for Tony D to arrive to jump him and and start beating him up in the parking lot. So I'm assuming this was supposed to be a regular match, um, not a parking lot brawl, but it ended up just kind of being a parking lot brawl. Um, and they fought all over the arena. They fought all over backstage. What I liked about this was that they weren't like looking for spots. So many times when you see people do these backstage like fights or these just out of ring like events, too many times you see the talent just kind of keep looking and like kind of eyeball like certain spots they need to be doing, or they like you could just tell they're just trying to choreograph, like trying to get to one place to the next, because they have all these things they lined up and wanted to do. I didn't feel that here. Here, they went balls to the wall. They were going nuts at each other. There was very good, and I'm going to say this throughout the show, there was very good camera work all through this show. Whoever is doing the overall overhead, whoever is running the production truck and be able basically working the camera crews the way they are, props to them. The way they captured a lot of the stuff on this show, my shout out is to the camera crew and the production. They did such a good job really capturing the essence of like what was supposed to be encapsulated within like on your television screen. That was very well done by that crew. So yeah, like I said, this didn't feel too scripted. It didn't feel too choreographed. It felt very organic. They were trying to kick each other's ass. Very physical, like very physical. These guys were not being safe to each other at all. They were really going balls to the wall. I really loved how intense Tony D was. He was kicking ass. And to be fair, he dominated this match. Lennox didn't stand a chance. And you know, Lennox is an up and coming star, right? He's still got some things to iron out, but like as a foil to Tony D, or like he's a great he was great opposing Tony D here, or at least trying to. Um, he is the standout for Dark State. Overall, in my opinion, I'm not like the super biggest fan of Dark State because I never really entirely understood Dark State's message to begin with. So that's been one of my cases as to why I haven't been fully behind this group. But I do like I know they've explained why they do, and who they are, which humanized them, and I get it. But I also wish they had more of a mission statement, and followed that through. And but either way, what we got was very serviceable. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo looked like $1,000,000 here. If he is not NXT champion in the months to come, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I get Joe Hendry is the champ right now. But and we'll talk more about that in a bit. But like, yeah, I just was like, this match convinced me that Tony D needs to be the man who leads NXT. Like, if you're not putting your title on this guy, who are you putting your title on? So, again, this match was way better than it had any right being. It was super fun, especially coming off a fun Jada and Blake Monroe match. Like, hell yeah. This so basically see, this is the thing. They were like complaining that yeah, I don't know. It just see they they're saying that some of that stuff could have been filmed earlier. I don't know. It felt like it was pretty on, like, all that felt pretty live and none of that felt like it was taped earlier. I think that was all taped at that time. I just honestly think they did a great job with this match. Way better than it, like I said, way better than it was expected. And on top of that, OTM, um, out of the mud. Again, getting involved in the match to deal with Dark State. And we're gonna see a promo. There was a promo from them later on in the night, basically saying that they need to eat and they're gonna basically do what they need to do to get some food to uh, satisfy their hunger. Um, I've been trying to get into OTM, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I don't relate. I'm having a hard time really giving a shit about OTM. But they're one of the more imposing tag teams that they have available right now, and I want to see if they can hang and thrive and become something more relevant than what they are. I don't know. My thing is, one of them looks like a thug, one of them looks like a pro wrestler. That's what annoys me about the group, about the tag team. One of them looks like a legit thug that you don't want to fuck with. One of them looks like he's trying to be a pro wrestler. Or he looks and tries to be a pro wrestler. So I don't know. I wish there's a that it's a bit of a disconnect for me. I wish either they both look like thugs or they both look like pro wrestlers that are thuggish in how they handle their kind of like the Rottweilers in Ring of Honor, you know, with Ricky Key is it Ricky Keys? I can't Ricky Ray's. Yeah, Ricky Ray's and Low Key. You know, they were um pretty thuggish, but yet you could tell that they were also wrestlers as well. So I don't know. I just want them to have a more continuity with their look. I wish they did. Anyways, I'm rambling on about something that doesn't really matter. So let's go further. Izzy Dane, Tatum Paxley. I think this was match of the night. Even though we already had some pretty good matches, this was match of the night, and I was actually looking forward very much to this match. Um, yeah. They didn't like this match for whatever reason. Um, yeah, I don't know why they didn't like it. Well, I will say that yeah, sure. There could the match been cleaner? Yes. Could it have been a little more crisp with the execution? Sure. But I think sometimes when something looks too rehearsed and too crisp, it takes you out of the match. I think sometimes the struggle and some amount of like slop or some amount of just um dirty, or I'm trying to think of the word, not rough, unrefined. Okay. Sometimes I think some stuff when they do it in the ring, If it's a little unrefined and just kind of looks like they're struggling and they're actually like giving an effort, especially when they're tired, I prefer to see that. Okay, yeah, this kick don't exactly land. Well, maybe they shouldn't. They're 20 minutes into a fucking match, or 15 minutes into a match. Yeah, maybe that kick shouldn't land where it should, or maybe when Tatum does a 450 off the top, she doesn't realize Dame's too far away, and she kind of lands awkwardly on her feet a little bit, and then splashes down onto um onto Dame. Um, this was one of the best storylines going into Vengeance Day, and I do enjoy how it got executed and how it ended here. Big, big kudos for Tatum Paxley getting the North American Championship. Hopefully, she gets to hold on to this title a lot longer than she got to hold on to that NXT title, which I thought was bullshit that she only got to hold it for as long as she did. Um, Dame was a great heel. She's been a good heel for the calling, for this faction, for this feud, everything. She's done. The only thing I will say, and they do kind of say something about this, like, kind of wish as a group the calling did more. Like, it just seems like Sean Spears and what's his name, Nico Vance. I haven't seen Nico Vance do one fucking interesting thing since he's joined this group. Like, he hasn't done anything prior to joining this group, and he still hasn't done anything while joining this group. Like, it was interesting to me when Brooks Jensen was part of the group, and he's the one that got kicked out instead of Nico Vance. And Brooks Jensen's done more with his WWE career than Nico Vance. I don't know. It baffles me. How they work this group in the direction. Like, I get, like, pretty much Izzy Dame is pretty much the leader of the group in a sense. She kind of is the front runner, but like, it just annoys me that they don't really, as a group, they don't really do much else other than like parade around behind her. Hmm. But yeah, um, say what you will. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was the funnest match of the night. I was really happy to see Paxley beat Dame. And we'll just move on. Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice. Now, this so far, this show has offered a little bit of everything. Now we got an underground match. This has been one of those other long, outstanding feuds that basically that has been highlighted over the last several months. And now we got Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice basically um, blowing it off with an underground match. Um, I really have a hard time judging the underground matches because they are what they are. They are a mockery of MMA matches without a cage. Excuse me. And honestly, I just don't think I've never been the biggest fan of them. I really don't because like I hate the idea that you're trying to make a real like fight. You're working a real fight or a shoot fight, that's it just I don't know. It annoys me because then you have to watch some stuff on like Bloodsport to really understand what I'm trying to say. Like some of these, like it's very annoying. Like if both competitors actually fight like they're MMA fighters, it works. But when the unfortunate part is like Klein Jordan is a wrestler, and Lola Vice being the person with the MMA background or the fighting background, it just it just sometimes feels weird because the way they basically kind of did the match, it didn't exactly play to the strengths of Lola Vice at all. Um, in order to make Klein Jordan even remotely like feel like that she had the upper hand, they had to make it feel like more of a wrestling match with her catering to the crowd, her doing her heelish things where she was smashing Lola's hand left and right. And it's just like that's not what you're I don't want a wrestling match. If we're doing an underground match, you fight. This isn't like you're pandering to the crowd. This is a fight. This is not supposed to be a wrestling match. And that's what this kind of felt like. And it does kind of pull you out of it a little bit. I don't know who produced it, but it just wasn't what I wanted, and it wasn't what I was hoping for. Did I feel that the right person won the feud? Yes. Lola Vice getting the win, knocking out Kalani Jordan was what I wanted to see. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been loving heel Kalani Jordan. Superb. I just don't think this was the match we needed to blow this feud off. Um, I mean, they chose this match obviously to basically give the props and show strength to Lola Vice and basically give her the advantage. Um, but either way, I just was not, and still not just. I just don't think they do underground matches that great in WWE in general. I don't know why they continue the concept in NXT, honestly, but it is what it is. Um, there was they had a segment with JC Jane and the Fatal Influence coming out, and basically they had Zarya and Sol Ruka come out, and they all like threw some verbiage at each other, this and that. Um, I just wasn't I don't know why we had to spend some of our PLE hyping up and making a match for one of our NXT shows a few weeks away. I was not a fan of that. Like a PLE should not be the place for that. It just I don't know. I just feel like that they need something like to do or some sort of segment in, and they wanted these women on the show to at some capacity, and this is what they came up with. But yeah, so basically, JC Jane's gonna defend her title against Zarya and Sol Ruka in the foreseeable future. Like not this upcoming, not later today, but next week, I believe, is when this match is supposed to happen. Um, I don't know. Just wasn't a big fan overall of what we saw here. Just, I mean, it's fine. I mean, if this was a regular episode of NXT, I wouldn't have minded this at all, but this was not the place for it. Last match, Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints. I mean, hopefully everybody has been enjoying their boy Joe Hendry as the champ. I'm awaiting the day that he is no longer the champ. I know a lot of people are fans of Joe Hendry. I'm over Joe Hendry. Like, let's just move on. Like, his character is not like I get it. He's a hard worker. He's about how much respect, like how I viewed John Cena back in the day. Like I get it, he's respectful. He's worthy of respect. He's a hard worker. He's charismatic. He's you know panders to the crowd. Real fun to follow and get engaged with. But like I just don't I just don't like him as champ. I really don't. Um, this match was also a bit better than I expected, honestly. These two worked. Um, these two worked pretty well together, honestly, and I'm glad Ricky Saints is a heel because, man, watching him as a face was really hard to digest. He's always been like a better heel than he ever was a face. I love that Ethan Page got involved and basically, in a way, screwed Ricky out of the title, but not inadvertently or not intentionally. But um, yeah, this it's and I'm hoping that Ethan Page comes back into the main title picture because if they're not going to bring him up to the main roster, I want to see Ethan Page as the NXT champion. I want him to beat Joe Hendry and get the title because Ethan Page to me is the best, probably the best talent they have on NXT right now, and that's well, when it comes to the males, he's the best. When it comes to the male side, I think him and Tony D are probably the top two, and I think like I would love to see Ethan Page get the title. I would love to see Tony D go after Ethan Page and try to do what he does, and Ethan Page like find ways to screw with Tony D on a regular basis would be awesome, but we'll see where their plans for the title go. Ricky Saints ended up coming up short for this match, which is what I was expecting to happen. um Props to Joe Hendry for being the face of NXT. I'm glad he's really, you know, doing great, honestly. Just he's a good guy. Hey, he deserves the opportunity. He's earned it. Um but yeah. Just I kinda wished yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a little more because we saw Ethan Page. I was expecting Vanity Project to come out, to be honest, and we didn't see Vanity Project. So I was a little surprised. Um, the people who did this or rated this wasn't a super big fan of the show, or they thought it was okay. Um, I thought this was a more enjoyable show than Elimination Chamber by far. For many reasons, and we're gonna get into that here in a moment. But like, I'm okay with what uh, Shawn Michaels and NXT is doing right now for these PLEs. Like, I just wish they get rid of the two things in NXT. I wish they get rid of. Just get rid of the underground thing. I'm tired of the underground thing. It doesn't really work for me. Get rid of the speed thing. Don't really like the speed title. Like it's gimmicky. I don't like it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like the idea that you need to have 3 minutes for a regular match and then 5 minutes for a title match makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why is a title match gotta be more time than a regular match is beyond me. Just the everything they're doing for the speed for this for the concept of the speed title is just stupid. I just wish they move on from it. But with that said, let's discuss a little bit more about why I believe NXT PLEs are way better than the main roster PLEs. So, like, we just recently watched Elimination Chamber not that long ago. Oh man, and that was rough to sit through for a fair amount of that show. And then we had this. First of all, it's the pacing. Pacing of NXT PLE way better, way more digestible, and more engaging than the pacing that you see on a WWE main roster PLE. They fill their time with all sorts of commercials and promos for other advertisements and whatnot. They also overbook all their entrances, and the entrances take forever. Most of the entrances here on the show, on NXT, was very short to moderate. Like, I think Ricky Saints had the longest entrance, except him and Joe Hendry probably about same time entrance, but they weren't long. They come out, they kind of do their thing, they're done. Where most of the time, like, they really, like, especially in Elimination Chamber, they really milk the entrances, and it's just like, I just want to watch the match. Let's be done with this fucking entrance shit. It's like, God, all 6 of them coming out, and it's just so long. No, that's the one thing I do like about NXT in general. They don't fixate on that, and they try to focus more about getting more of what's supposed to happen in the ring and whatnot, more of the story, more of the action on TV, as opposed to just a bunch of filler. um what else can you say? The women's division in NXT is way more well highlighted than it is on the main roster. The NXT isn't afraid. Oh, not all. Well, first of all, most of the matches were women's matches on this PLE, and it's always like that. It's either at least half, if not more than half, the matches are women as opposed to men. Now, I also attribute that to the fact that, not contribute, attribute that to the women's roster being stronger on NXT right now than the men's men's roster. Um, Whether or not that'll change, who knows? But as of right now, I'm okay with it. Like, if when you got talent, you need to showcase talent. I don't care if it's a little more skewed on one side or the other. Get that talent on TV. That's what I say. Um, People aren't gonna be super picky if they get to see good talent on TV regular um at regular intervals. Um, so yeah, women definitely highlight more, even main eventing at certain times. Which what was it? Deadline, that the women's deadline match main evented, I believe, or did it not? I'm trying to remember. I think it did. Yeah, I think it did. Headline. Um, but yeah, there's been plenty of times where the women were the main event for NXT PLEs, which I wish WWE did that more for their main roster, and they just don't. They seem to be happy to have the women open a lot of the shows, and then you don't see any more women's matches. Um, it's like they try to get them out of the way before they put on the stuff that they really want you to see or they really want to promote. Um, what else? Again, the camera work. And I've been really digging, like, the more organic approach to the camera work and the cuts and the capture of the action on NXT, way more so than the main roster. Um, been digging that a lot more. What else? What else? Obviously, I love the story and the booking of Shawn Michaels way better than Triple H right now. Um, Shawn Michaels knows how to keep it more simple and relatable and understandable, all these different feuds, than what they do on the main roster. I think sometimes they don't even try to feud or have a reason to feud on the main roster. And I said this before in the last show or in my last video. Sometimes they don't even try to get. They have like one or two main stories, and that's all they want to follow. And the rest of what they have on the shows are filled with qualifying matches, tournament matches, this and that, this and that. And it's like, Where are the stories? Where I thought you were the land that I thought you were the company that tells stories. Where are these stories? It's like every time I turn around, it's a goddamn qualifying match or a tournament match or yeah, eliminator. Who knows? It's just it gets a little annoying where this is supposed to be a developmental product, and sometimes it's like it's just so much more digestible and much more um just it's not overwrought. The booking is very clean and not I shouldn't say the word clean, but it's not overproduced like it is on the main roster. Like all the time, the stuff on the main roster is just overproduced, and you can tell it's just like sometimes I feel like the best type of show is something that's not entirely scripted because people can see through when something is entirely scripted. You want to blur those lines. You want to be able to like get people thinking, "Oh, wow, I'm sure that they didn't rehearse that or they didn't like, you know, I'm people expect it to be a work, but like nowadays, but like if they can still if you can still question or get them to question whether or not it is, that's when that's when you've captured their that's when you know you captured the audience. But anyways, I'm rambling. Part of it is because I'm a bit tired. I'm very tired right now, and I wanted to get this video in before I went to bed. Otherwise, I wasn't sure when I was gonna get the video in. But tag division. NXT highlights tag division. Now we didn't see a tag team PLE match, and that's mostly because they highlight the tag division as much as they try to, but definitely way more than the main roster does. The main roster, you'd be surprised if there's tag champs. I never remember who the tag champs are on the main roster. I have to look it up every time because that's how little they defend the titles on the main roster. And when it comes to tag team titles, like they never defend the tag titles on the PLEs ever. So it's just like I have to like constantly look up who the tag champs are. Where in NXT, they do at least still emphasize a little more on the tag team wrestling, and they try to get like every now and again a resurgence to get people to care about the tag team division. Um so yeah, I don't know. It's just at its core, I just think NXT is able to put on a better show because they are not dealing with a creative with too many cooks in the kitchen that create an overwrought scenario of how things should be booked. Um, and not only that, like Shawn Michaels is obviously a little more hands on with his talent and being able to get the most out of his talent, being able, and much akin to Paul Heyman in the ECW days. Like Shawn Michaels able to accentuate the strengths while being able to phase out the negatives or at least hide them. The main roster, I'm starting to wonder if there's a lot more discontinuity with like creative, with production, with like what talent is expected to do and what they're told to do. Um, we see so many like botches and so many weird like transitional um trying to think of the word transitional transitional patterns. Let's call it that. Transitional patterns where it just doesn't feel like um everyone's on the same page. So like there's so much where you can see that the ref is having to make sure everyone's doing exactly as they're told all the time. This and that. There's I don't know. I just feel like that yeah, they really have a harder time trying to make things work the way they're supposed to on the main roster with given like sometimes the crowd reaction, sometimes um I think sometimes the like I said, I'm as you can tell, I'm just kind of delirious at this point and almost probably falling asleep on the chair at this if I keep going any longer. Um, I the point I was trying to make is I just really enjoy what NXT's been able to do with what they have for their PLEs, and they really bring out the most of their talent. I just really wish WWE and the creative room could like be able to come together into more of a consensus to be able to get the most out of their talent. Fuck these 4 match PLEs. Let's add another match or two in. Why can't we have a tag division that matters? Like let's get some new blood in there. Let's have more women's matches. Like I just I just feel like NXT is it's supposed to be the future of what WWE is supposed to be, but the problem is I don't think WWE wants that to be their future. Like they see what they're doing, but they're like, but we need to do this because our casual crowd won't care about this. I just I don't know. I just really I'm really happy that at least the people in NXT are doing quite a good job with what what this product is, and I'm always looking forward to more NXT. Obviously, it's not as good as the black and gold era, but like for good comfort food wrestling, what better? Who better? Um, yeah, I was kind of hoping this would be a shorter vid, and I apologize for the rambling. I am tired. Um, I got a lot of wrestling to catch up on this week because I got a this upcoming weekend is AEW's new was it Revolution? What was it? I forget what the name of it is. Yeah, AEW Revolution. Yeah. So basically, that's coming up this Sunday. We still got, which we have MJF and Hangman uh, in a Texas death match. We got Thekla versus Chris Statlander. We got FTR against Young Bucks. Uh, John Moxley against Takeshita. Um, Okada, Fletcher, and Davis against Bailey Knight and Mystico. Tony Storm, Maria Shafir. We got Strickland and Brody King. We got Andrade and Bandito. And Ricochet defending the national championship. I'm not sure much more is going to change on this card by the weekend, but I am looking. I need to catch up on AEW content. I'm like 3 months behind because the last time I watched AEW content was a week or two after the Continental Classic. So I'm several weeks behind. I need to catch up on stuff, more or less go through the crib notes and watch a few of the better matches over the course of the several weeks, but I need to kind of like I do know why certain things are the way they are. I am at least aware of AEW news, but I haven't sat down and watched the shows. So like that's the gist. Um so I want to sit down and digest some AEW stuff as the week goes on. Yeah, hopefully we'll watch that. I'll get a vid on that next week. And kind of go over what AEW's been doing. Thanks for watching this. what I guess the most I could say about NXT is that it just I know people find it forgettable, or they just don't want to invest time in it, or it's, they just consider it developmental, won't won't bother, they just turn their nose up at it. It's very enjoyable wrestling, very very good stuff on NXT, and I get it why some people wouldn't watch it, but like honestly, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you feel that you don't need to waste your time with NXT. I believe wholeheartedly that you will. It's worth your time to watch it if you have access to it. So don't sleep on it. Give NXT a shot if you're not watching it, and if you are, hopefully you continue enjoying it. And yeah, I think we'll call it here. I'll see y'all later. Take care and have a good one.